personally feel that it is time to review, to a certain extent, what has happened over the last decade. 10 years now of pretty continuous success, and at a certain moment in time, I think it's time to calm down, to sit down and review a little bit what has happened over the last 10 years. And I want to take you along on this little journey and ask with you the question, what was our mission and why did we want to become global? So back in 2001, 2003, we started to define our mission. And at that time, we were in a difficult situation. Basically, IFA was free-falling. All the main KPIs, all the main key performance indicators were steeply decreasing. And at that time, we said, well, where do we want to be in 10 years? We said we want to be a truly global show. That was a daring announcement. You might compare it to JFK, who said, I want a manned mission to the moon. So that's how we felt. Once again, we were a German show and in deep crisis. And that's when we decided to come up with a new strategy, basically. And I want to go with you through some charts indicating and presenting to you what we did over the last 10 years and how we succeeded in doing so. Let's start with you, the international journalists. When I'm trying to figure out how we succeeded in developing this great increase in numbers of accredited international journalists, there are two reasons or two arguments coming up and popping up in my mind. One is that we truly develop a good working relationship with the PR departments of our exhibitors. So this is a kind of joint effort done and generated together with the PR departments of our exhibitors. The second one is that, and this is somewhat difficult to explain because it's a kind of relatively unclear feeling. Most of you are familiar with this expression, tipping point. There are different, how to say, the Malcolm Gladwell came up with this expression, tipping point. At a certain moment in time, a process radically changes. And we had this moment in time with our show roughly in 2007, 2008, when we felt that we became so successful that all the relevant processes within the companies, engineering, manufacturing, R&D, marketing, press work, and the presentation of new product premieres, everything was aligned and streamlined within the year to our show. So the best example is the presentation of new products, of world premieres. Starting in 2008, we felt that the companies kind of bundled this and presented it at our show. And at that moment in time, speaking still in marketing terms, this event changed from a push event that we had to push into the market into a pull event that was able to attract all the different forces within the market to that event. So that was the tipping point. And you can see this in your specific numbers between 2005 and 2010. We thought that, like, roughly speaking, 2,000 international journalists would be the utmost, the max we could achieve. And we had this huge leapfrog from 1,300 to 1,800, roughly 1,900 between 2005 and 2010. But then again in 2011 and 2013, we were still able to grow this number. It was what somewhat came as a surprise to all of us. And that was good news, obviously, to us. And as you can see, running through the two, the lower part of the screen, by now this is truly also from a media standpoint, it's the global hub for consumer electronics during the year, and that is something that gives a lot of joy to us. And so we can say that this first part of the mission, becoming a truly global show with regard to international journalist figures, has been accomplished. The second ingredient when talking about how to become a global show, obviously, is the number of trade visitors and later on international trade visitors. In 2001, 2003, we were in essence a German show dedicated to the German market. We had our focus on German TV stations, and what we didn't have in mind really was the development of the entire industry. We didn't see ourselves as a competence center for the entire industry. We were severely and deeply focused on being a good German show. And when we came up with this new mission statement and this new strategy, we said, no, we want to become global. And therefore, first of all, obviously, we had to internationalize, but we had to concentrate and to focus our limited resources at that time on one single measure. And this single measure was to concentrate on the international trade visitors. Why? Quite simply, because our main customers are the exhibitors. And what is the main requirement, the main need of our main customer, the exhibitor? Well, international trade visitors, business, sales, revenue. And therefore we put all we had, all we could give, we kind of allocated on the acquisition and on the acquisition is not a good term, but on getting as many international trade visitors as possible to our show. We really focused on that one. And have a look at what we succeeded in doing and how the numbers developed. In 2010, 25% of the trade visitors came from abroad. And that is the main KPI for our show, the main key performance indicator, is that we were able to double this number from 2010 to 2013, both in relative terms and in absolute numbers. Great increases: Korea, Turkey, the Arab Emirates, and so on. So this obviously is not done by one single person. This is our international sales network. I don't know if you're familiar with the fact that our company runs an international sales network, basically covering 120 countries with daughter companies, representative offices, and sales personnel in all these countries. And this is a joint effort, and it worked out. And so this is the backbone of our show. Second term, international journalists, international trade visitors, mission to become global, fulfilled and mission completed. Third aspect of becoming a global show. If you envision, or if you try to develop this picture inside your head, what is the measurement for the importance of any international event, political, sport, or business like trade show? Well, recently it's all about how much time the top management actually dedicates and allocates to this event. And that's another area where IFA developed tremendously over the last couple of years, over the last 3 or 4 years. And you can see all the managers who participated at IFA and who spent time at IFA. That's another extinction or distinction of IFA that the CEOs have the tendency to stay at this show, not just coming in, presenting, and then flying out, but they actually do stay in Berlin and they do spend time at their respective booth. Last aspect, global manufacturers, or in other terms, how's our market coverage? And with regard to market coverage, we should divide between the CE market and the home appliance market. You know by now that with regard to the CE market, we do have nearly complete market coverage. Of the big names, there's only one company missing, it's Apple. Why is that? Because for the time being, at least, Apple is not dependent on retail. So every single company in the world that is dependent on retail is present at IFA. And let's wait and see how long Apple is able to do it without the retail. With regard to the home appliances, there is big news I can announce today. And the big news of today is that, yes, we have completed the mission of the complete market coverage of CE, but with regard to home appliances, we will be for the first time complete in 2014. By saying complete, I mean that all the 4 major groups will be represented at IFA. For the first time, Whirlpool will be represented by a major performance and presence of Bauknecht at IFA. Big compliment to the team. It took you quite some time to accomplish this fact, but finally you made it, and that is really good news. And that should give you another good grip on the positive tendency this event actually has. Finally, coming to our show and to our numbers and our figures. The 3 gentlemen on stage before me already gave you an idea with regard to the market developments. In a nutshell, those arrows indicate the tendency of the markets, and as you can see, our show in essence follows the market. The exhibition area will increase this year by approximately 1 to 2%. How is that possible? Well, there are 2 reasons how we are able to present again a growing number with regard to exhibition space. The first one is that we stick to our concept. And we are sticking to our concept for the last decade, basically. This is an option, this is a strategic option within our industry that is rather unique, so that we can say we do not change a winning team for almost a decade. In most of your businesses, or in most of the businesses of our exhibitors, sticking with your same concept, with your same strategy for 10 years is rather an exception of the rule. But we aren't active within the market 365 days a year, 24/7. We are a kind of disruptive event taking place once a year. And therefore, if the concept is a good one, you can stick with it. And that's what we did. We defined it in 2003, and basically, we didn't change it until the present day. And that gave us these pretty well defined steep growth rates over the last years. And obviously, we as Messe Berlin, we had to work on our hardware. We had to build a new hall in order to accommodate this growing size of the exhibition. And that's what we did over the last 2 years. We built a new conference center. It's named CityCube Berlin. The CityCube offers 12,000 square meters. One level is dedicated to our new convention, and the other level is dedicated to give more space to the show and to enable us to grow this show in 2014. These are some pictures of the new convention center. It's fairly slim, it's elegant, it's rather functional. This is an actual picture taken last week, if I'm not mistaken. So that's how it looks. That's how it looks. And having these new facility at hand, we will see some major changes in allocation of different companies in 2014. And let me guide you through these changes. The first one, Samsung will move from the north entrance, from the hall 20, and from hall number 2 into hall number 6, sorry, from hall number 20 and hall number 6, all the activities into the upper level of the new City Cube. The next change, the next move will be Sony taking Samsung's place in the hall next to the north entrance. Beko moving from hall 7 to hall 5. Belek entering for the first time at IFA at hall number 7.1. And the telecommunication hall will move from hall 9 to hall 4.2. Mr. Kamp mentioned it, a new convention. I don't know how many of you were familiar with the fact that until today the old convention was organized by a third party. We decided to take over, to create our own conference, and we consider it a logical step, a very logical step when you want to be and to become a better competence center for the entire industry. So you will see this new convention in a new outfit, and hopefully it will contribute to increase the overall quality of the entire event. I'm rather sure that we'll be able to do so, and we are looking forward for this new IFA Plus Summit, this new event format. And I'm honored to be able to announce that the IFA opening keynote, also being at that time the convention keynote, will be delivered by the President and CEO of Samsung Electronics, Bo Kim-yoon, in 2014 at our new conference center, City Cube.